boy.
My blood is boiling because it's the audacity for me. It's the audacity. When the clique does it, it's okay. But when anybody else outside of the clique does it, then it's a problem. The audacity for all the boys to pick on Shakira because she calls them out doesn't make sense. For them to say she's involving herself in other people's business. They like the fact that they can walk all over the girls. They like the fact that they can say whatever they want to say and not get in trouble for it. That's the reason why they are against Shakira and Tony and Yasmin, because they call them out. There's no other justifiable reason for that. And for the clique to sort of try and make Tony to be the villain in Helena's story doesn't make sense. When people were trying to explore a connection with Dijon and Harry, when they were in couples with Meg and Helena, they kicked off. Suddenly, when everybody else is kicking off, it's a crime. I do not get it. Snog-Marry-Pie, I felt like the boys ganged up on Shakira and Tony. And I'm here for Tony going to kiss, Dijon. I loved that. I loved it. Because at the end of the day, it's shots fired to Megan. Because if someone is going to say, I'm going to kiss your guy because you had a great thing in the hideaway, then the same thing should be done to your guy because he looked great the day before. And for Yasmin to tease him with a kiss, he was ready. He was ready for a kiss. And so for her to step away, he was shocked. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 21. So obviously on Friday we left off with the dumping, and so today Megan and Romel are leaving. You have people very upset. The clique is upset because they're about to disband. Romel on his part is upset that he didn't get a chance to stay in the villa, and so you have them sort of packing up their stuff, and you then have Connor pull Megan for a chat. What do I think? I know they had a strong bond. At some point, he spoke about wanting to make her his girlfriend. The way he was crying, I expected him to leave with her. So I was pleasantly surprised that he stayed, because he doesn't seem to have any other connection outside of Emily. And we all know he can't stand Emily. So I'm surprised that, he didn't leave with Megan, given the way he was crying. For Romel in his exit interview to say he wishes he had chosen Poppy. Say to the birds, because I think he wants the attention and he knows that his storyline at the moment is a bit mucky, so he wants people to follow him and see whether he pursued something with Poppy afterwards. Megan on her part was very... Well, she didn't seem that fazed. She spoke about her connection with Connor, but didn't seem as affected as Connor was, so I don't get that. You have the guys having a conversation on the day beds. Obviously, they're talking about Romel leaving, and they're also talking about Connor. Connor is very upset that he can't even talk. And it's like, I hope he doesn't become depressed. I hope he's able to sort of get out of the funk, because it's a bit hard in Love Island, because today you are crying that somebody's going. Tomorrow you're having to explore a connection with a new person. So hopefully, if nothing else, he and Tony go back to being in a friendship couple and save each other for now until he gets his person and she gets her person. You have the girls by the mini fire pit having a conversation and sort of talking about the fact that Meg is gone, and Tony says, I thought I was going home. And then the audacity for Dijon's Meg to say, well, it's not you, babe, you're here. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. What do you think? I don't like the sarcastic way sort of Megan spoke. I thought it was out of order. At the end of the day, Tony was just speaking as someone who had been vulnerable, that it could have been me. And so, yes, everybody accepts that they have to make the most of the situation because they don't know when they're going. But at the same time, I felt it wasn't necessary. Connor went for a chat with Ben to the fire pit, and you were saying that he could see Meg as his girlfriend, because when he was sort of exploring his connection, he kept asking himself, can you be my girlfriend? Can you be my girlfriend? And it's like, well, if that was the situation, why didn't you go home? Why did you not go home, unless they're planning on bringing her back after she sort of realized how bad they're behaving in the villa? Why did you sort of not go home with her if you saw her as your girlfriend and then explored it and see where it went? I don't know. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe he'll explore it if he doesn't find somebody else. You have Tony and Diaz having a chat, and Tony is still upset because she feels disrespected by this young man. And the audacity for Harrison to say he doesn't see that he's disrespected her doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And he continues to disrespect her because he went and he pulled Helena for a chat and is sitting there in front of everyone on the sun deck to see, as he's cuddling her, he's rubbing her waist, he's doing whatever. I love that Yasmin was commentary. She was commenting on every single thing that was happening, and Shakira didn't even turn her head because Shakira already has smoke for this guy because she told him, be honest with my friend, and he wasn't being honest, so I know she's going to light him up. And for Helena to say, I don't owe her any explanation, I don't know. Oh, you don't owe her, but you are upset with Yasmin, and you are saying, why didn't Yasmin explain everything that happened? But because it's you, everything is okay. The hypocrisy is shocking when it comes to the clique. The hypocrisy is shocking. When something is done to them, it's a crime. When they do it to somebody else, well, that's part and parcel of being in the villa. You then have him have the audacity to hug her. I think he's trying to make an impression. This is what I get. I think he knows that there are big characters in the villa. And so Harrison is trying to stand out and get a storyline of his own. It seems everyone, after the game that they played where, things people were saying were repeated, has decided to sort of get airtime of their own because they've realized that they were not getting as much airtime. And I think people like Harry and Dijon have been asked to sort of settle down a bit so that everybody else gets their moment. You have Harrison go and sit down with Harry. And I love that you had Shakira come over and she said to him, have you apologized or have you spoken to Tony since the dumping? He says, well, she's upset with me. I don't think I need to speak to her. She said, you do need to speak to her. Well, I just told her I kissed somebody. Well, if you had the cojones to take somebody to the hideaway and kiss them, and this was preempted, the audacity for you and Helena to say, oh no, we didn't plan on doing it, it's something that you already spoke about it when you're on the trampoline, so on the hammock. So this was just a continuation of a conversation. And so I give it to Shakira for calling him out. I give it to Shakira for holding his feet to the fire. And so for him to try and go and have a chat with Tony because he's been prompted by Harry of all people and Shakira to do it doesn't make sense. Kudos to, Tony for saying you're only doing this because you've been asked to do it. Otherwise, you're never going to do it. So your apology is not genuine. If you were truly apologetic and if you really cared about me, as soon as the people that are being dumped had left, you should have checked up on me. Tony, how are you? I'm so sorry. I know you were nearly dumped. I'm happy that you're still here. But no, he didn't do that. And I'm happy she didn't accept his apology. You have Shakira sort of hugging, Harry. They seem to be in a very good space. Shakira mellows Harry, and I think Harry, realizing he's in the bottom, is going to start being a menace again so that, people keep him in the villa because he knows the more of a menace he is, the more likely he is to stay. I did see a clip of her hugging Harrison as well, and I'm like, okay. Everybody went to sleep, and it was sad to see poor Tony crying in bed. So in the morning, you have a mini debrief. Obviously, you have the clique on the day beds, and they're saying, there's one missing from the day beds. So I assume they were commandeering the day beds, and this is where they would stay all the time. And so they saw it as their own little hotspot. They're talking about the fact that, they really miss Megan. They don't understand how she went home. The only reason they could think of is because of the Tommy situation and how she moved in that. And it's like, yeah, I guess so. I think Tommy has been edited to be an angel when he's not. And then they come on to the issue of Helena and Harrison. And so you have Emily pipe in and sort of say that, oh, she doesn't like the name calling and stuff. And it's like, Emily, this is not your battle. Sit down. These same people were cheering for Megan and Connor when you were away. So the idea that you think they have your back, you're in for a rude awakening. On the fire pit, you have Harry, Jojo, and Connor, and they're sort of checking in with Connor to say, Connor, how are you doing? We know you really struggled last night, because not only did his partner, in a romantic sense, leave, his friend also, it seemed he spent a lot of time with Romel, so it's a double whammy for him. So he's bound to be upset, and it's understandable that everybody sort of is feeling for him. He did say he doesn't know whether he'll meet someone who he'll feel the same way about as he did with Megan. And it's like, if that's how you feel, pack your bag and go home. There's no need to waste time. Jojo says, he's going to make more of an effort with Yasmin because he's realized that, you can't just sit back and relax. There is a possibility that you could be the next person sent home. It's like, well, if that's how you say it, it is what it is. Dijon is having a conversation with Harrison. Harrison is saying he likes both Tony and he likes Helena. I don't know whether it's the physical features that he likes about Helena, but it seems he likes Tony's fieriness because he's already said he likes a fiery girl. And so he's thinking of continuing to talk with the two of them. And it's like, Tony told you that we're over. So the idea that you think there's still anything to explore there, I don't get it. Tony is sitting with the girl. She's sitting with Alima, Yaz, and Shakira. And Shakira is saying to her, you need today to speak to him. But if he pulls you for a chat, you need to speak to him. But unlike yesterday, where you were screaming and shouting, today try and mellow down. Try and just be quiet and just put your point across. You don't need to shout at him. You don't need to sort of say anything provocative. Yes, she still feels upset. She's justified in feeling upset. She is justified. You can't take that away from her. She's justified in feeling upset. You have, at the fire pit, you have, on his part, Harry is saying he really likes his connection with Shakira. His problem is she involves herself in other people's business. But he says at the end of the day, he would never sort of give up on her just because of that, because he really likes her. And it's like, yeah, at times she does involve herself, but I think she involves herself in the hope of standing up and supporting her friends. She's not just involving herself just for the sake of it. It's a double-edged sword. It can be seen in a negative light, and it can also be seen as a very supportive friend. It depends on how you take it. Yasmin then pulls Jojo for a conversation. Yaz's problem is, this is my thought, Yaz can't just have a conversation with a guy without flirting. And the flirting at times goes a bit TMI, and so I think this is going to be off-putting, and it's going to be a problem for her in finding a guy that she can couple up with, unless the guy just wants to stay in the villa, and so he's going to use her. But at the end of the day, she did have a cutesy conversation. It became a bit flirty. She said she likes flirting with the guy and she likes the guy flirting with her, but Jojo is too laid back. I think Jojo would be better off with someone who, like Alima, who's not as in your face as Yasmin is, or who's not going to sort of, Alima will hold his feet to the fire, but most of the time she seems very calm. I don't know whether she would date outside her race though. You have Tony just sitting there on the hammock. She's very upset. She's very upset. It's really sad. You can actually see that she's really upset about the whole situation. And so you have Harrison go across to sit with her. And he can tell that she's very upset. Everybody knows she's very upset because this is unacceptable. She hasn't done that to anyone. And this is the second time it's been done to her. The first time was when Emily stole Connor. Now Harrison has been stolen from her when she thought things were moving great. And so she's justified in feeling upset. Harrison, for him to say, but I said I was open, he's choosing to be ignorant. He's selectively being ignorant. It's not that he's ignorant, but he's selectively being ignorant, because the idea that he can't understand that she's saying, you disrespected me by taking someone to the hideaway. I don't get which part of that is missing. It was disrespectful to his partner because he and Helena had that conversation about the hideaway during the day. So he knew he was going to go to the hideaway. The thing he could have done is, I'm still open. I know I said I'm open. I just want to let you know that I am going to be taking Helena to the hideaway. We want to have a private chat away from everybody else. And then, Tony could have known that. Instead of sitting there like a fool and just watching them walk across. I really feel sorry for her, and I feel bad that she's been made to feel this bad by the guys in the villa. You then have Yasmin receive a text message which says, Islanders, pack her up as it's time to show your true feelings in a game of Snog-Marry-Pie. And then it's like, it's about to be messy. Anyway, hashtag lips don't lie, hashtag hot mess express, and it is about to be a hot mess express. So this time we didn't get to see the Islanders scrubbing the bejesus out of their teeth. Instead, we just caught up with the Islanders already in a line. And Snog-Marry-Pie has always been a tricky game in the sense that some people have kissed the person they wanted, then they've lied that, well, I've kissed that person and given you the ring because I thought the ring was more meaningful. And you could see that was the play that some people had for this game, and sadly it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. So first up was Alima. Alima kissed Harrison. She said he's easy on the eyes. I think it's because she's known everybody from the start, and she didn't feel she had that sort of connection with Jojo. That's why she went for Harrison, because he's the next person she's not as familiar to as the other guys. She gave her ring to Tommy, who she said he's not upset the girls, and then she gave this massive pie to Ben because she says she doesn't like how he speaks to women and how he speaks about women. Anyone surprised? No, we've all said this. We've all seen the way he's spoken to the girls, so I'm not surprised. Next up was Helena. If Thirsty was a person, Helena's face would be right next to it. Because I don't get how she doesn't realize that Harry is just using her for attention. He's not using her, he's not choosing her because he really likes her romantically. So she decided to kiss Harry, and she said it's been a while and she wanted to test the waters. And it's like, how many waters do you need to test? You've tested the waters with Harrison. Now you've decided to test the waters with Harry. Which is it? And hopefully Harrison, sadly, he doesn't have eyes to see, because if I were him, I would have picked up on the signals that she's dropping, that I'm actually number 2, I'm not number 1. She decided to pie Jojo because she said he took the pie last night very well, so she knew he would take the pie today very well. After her came Shakira. Shakira kissed Harry. She said he's not yet quite husband material yet, but he's on his way to being husband material. She then gave Connor a ring because she said he's husband material. She pied Ben. She said in case it wasn't clear the first time, there's no chance of reconciliation between the two of them. Next up was Meg. She kissed Dijon because she said there's no other person she would like to kiss in the villa. She gave her ring to Tommy because she said she really likes Tommy and she'll protect him at all costs. And it's like, if you're going to protect him at all costs, why didn't you protect him from Meg leaving him then? Anyway, Ben, she pied. She said she doesn't like the way he speaks to girls. So you can only imagine, if we're being shown that little tiny clip, what everybody else is saying in the villa. Next up was Tony. Tony decided to go guns blazing. She realized that, she can't go for Harry because he's in a couple with her friend. So she can't go for Harrison. She doesn't want Harrison. So she took the next best shot and she went for Dijon. Dijon enjoyed that kiss way too much. He enjoyed it way more than he enjoyed with his partner. Yes, we didn't see where his hands were with his partner, I assume on a bum bum. But the fact that he had his hands on Tony's bum was just, chef's kiss. Meg didn't like that. And then her reason was he's the only guy in the villa that she would have kissed because she hasn't yet kissed him, and he looked great the night before. And it's like, oh my God. And then she gave her ring to Connor because she said he's a saint. Connor loved that. She said he was a saint when they were in a couple. She doesn't know what's happened since they've uncoupled. And then she pied Harrison because she felt he's just like the rest of the guys. He'll use you and dump you, and he's not serious about her connection. And that's the truth, though. He's only 22 years old. Next up was Emily. She kissed Tommy because she said she's enjoying getting to know him. She gave Dijon a ring because she said he's always there for her when she needs him. And also she likes the way he treats Meg. And then she gave Connor a pie, she said, for obvious reasons. It's like, wow, it is what it is. And then came Yasmin. Yes, GPT. I love Yas because she went and she sort of... she pretended. What do you call that? Sorry. She pretended as though she psyched Dijon as though she was going to kiss him. And he leaned in, and then she went off and she kissed Jojo. She said, they had a nice chat and he's a good kisser. She then gave her ring to Tony because she said Tommy is a darling and husband material. She then piled her pie to the ceiling. And then she went to Ben and she asked him to open his eyes. And he wouldn't open his eyes. I think he felt she wanted him to actually see him pieing. But no, she wanted to give him the middle finger. And then she went to Harrison and she pied him. And she said, I don't like the way you've treated Tony. I feel like you've mugged her off. Harrison is saying, oh, but I'm open. And you have Yasmin saying to him, it's not about you being open. It's about you being transparent, being honest, telling her the truth. This is what she wants. Tony keeps saying, you disrespected me. It's not that you're open, but you were disrespectful the way you moved about in your couple. And it's like, I think he's pretending to be ignorant. He is selectively ignorant of what Tony's saying. Anyway, then it came the guys, and first up was Dijon. He kissed Meg, and he said she's the only one he wanted to kiss. Shall we rewind a few seconds ago when he had his hands on Tony's bum bum? He gave Helena a ring. He said she's amazing, and I think this is because he was trying to appease his partner, because he knows that Helena is her only friend left in the villa. If he gave the ring to anybody else, he would have got in trouble. And then he decided to pie Yasmin. He said, I've already pied her. And then Yasmin, as per usual, as the queen that she is, she said, when did he pie me? I was busy in the hideaway with Harry, so I don't know when he thinks he pied me. Maybe he's hallucinating, and that's me adding that on, and I assume so. Next up was Harry. Harry decided to kiss Helena because she had kissed him before, and he said, there's always been sexual chemistry, but the yearn, the fire is not there. More or less, that's what he said, and so he wanted to see if it was still there, because he implied that him and Shakira being together, they've grown something way stronger than anything he's had with Helena. And the kiss was to see if there was still anything there, but to him, there's nothing. And I hope this lets her know that there's nothing there. And then he went to Shakira. Shakira refused his ring, even though he was kneeling there. I love that Alima said to him, I'm getting second-hand embarrassment for you. And then he went and he pied Emily. That pie I agree with. Let me let you know the pie that I agree with. He said they are not friends, good. But he said he's weary of a girl that's too nice. And that is Emily to a T. Emily has this pretty, very nice persona that she puts on, but then the moment people's backs are turned, then the real Emily steps forward, and she says some of the meanest and malicious things under her breath, hoping that nobody else can hear her, and when everybody sees her sit up, they think she's the cutest thing ever. So kudos to Harry for that one. You had Ben. He went and he kissed Emily. He said she's a pretty girl and she's the only girl I'm interested in. That's because the other four, you wouldn't have got away with kissing them. Yasmin, Shakira, Amelima, and Tony, they all don't like him. So that his only other option was either Helena and Meg, and he didn't want to kiss them. So this is why he went for Emily, in my opinion. He gave his ring to Helena. He said she's wifey material. Okay. And then to Shakira, he pied her. He said her attitude stinks. It stinks because she didn't want him. If she wanted him, he wouldn't say so. Next up was Tommy. He went and he kissed Emily. He said she has all the attributes of a girlfriend. That's if you don't look at her sly personality, that's always making sarcastic remarks about other people and mean comments. Alima, he proposed to because he said she's very sweet and respectful. And then Shakira, he said he doesn't like a fiery confrontation. Well, what did he do when he confronted Shay? How about that? He did the same thing. So he needs to take several seats down, and we'll just observe from afar. Next up was Jojo. Jojo kissed Yasmin. There was no pretending. He said they've had good conversations and he can't wait to see where that goes. Obviously, he knew none of the other girls was going to entertain him. He then gave his ring to Emily. He said she's got a heart of gold. Not really. It's brass. We have seen otherwise. He pied Helena because he said she pied him last night, and so it wasn't unstarted from the moment that they came from, the sleepover. She just brought him to make Harry jealous, which didn't work, in my opinion. This is my opinion. She brought him over to try and make Harry jealous. It didn't work, and then she then moved on to the next person, which was Harrison, hoping that would make him jealous. I don't think he's going to explore anything with her unless Shakira says we're over and done with, and she refuses to completely go back. You have Connor. He says he kisses Shakira because he says she's the fittest girl. Hopefully she couples up with Connor. Hopefully they make a couple now that what's her name is gone. And then with Emily, he pretended as though he was going to propose to her, and everybody was taken aback. But then he moved on and he proposed to Meg because he said she gives good advice. And then he went and he pied Emily. He said it's a failed connection. We all knew that. You then have Harrison. He goes and he kisses Helena and he says for the hideaway. He marries Tony, and then he said, well, I was going to marry you, but then because of the comments you've been making to the girls, I feel like you haven't been telling them the truth. And it's what truth? What truth? The problem is you are not honest. You have not been honest. You are disrespectful to your partner. That's the issue she has with you, nothing else. Anyway, Shakira, he pied because she said she's always in my business. He pied Shakira because I feel like he really likes Shakira romantically. The problem is Shakira is the closest of friends with his partner, so he can't explore anything romantic with her. And because he can't explore anything romantic, this is why he's throwing a tantrum and a fit. Anyway, the game ends. You have the click go to the daybeds. They go with Alima. I was pleasantly surprised. And Helena is saying that there's still unfinished business between her and Harry. Okay, in your dreams, but hey, if you say so, we'll believe you. Harry, on his part, says, he just wanted to see if there was anything there. He doesn't seem like he's interested. As far as I've seen Harry, he's not interested in Helena. And I don't know why he doesn't shut it down. I think he likes the fact that he's got someone who's crazy about him and he's not interested. And that's it. Shakira was upset. She was upset because at the end of the day, she feels like people targeted her because people like Tony said they didn't want to pick anyone. They didn't want to pick anyone, but they still picked her. And so it doesn't make sense. If you don't want to pick anyone, why are you coming for me? She was upset about the situation with Harry because they'd been doing great. So the idea that, Helena again is now interfering in another couple is something she didn't like. And it's like Helena has to grow up at some point. You can't keep chasing other people's guys. Find your own guy. You brought your own guy from Casa. Deal with that guy. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 19. Bye guys.